For Sarah, my big sister, my role model, and my lifelong friend. I smile every day because you are my sister, and then I giggle because there's nothing you can do about it. I love you. Here we go, season two.
Yes, season two, and I'm so excited to be back. Like I was jumping up and down this morning. I think I told Matt multiple times, I'm recording today. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm recording today.
And I will be for the next 9 months. Remember that. Yes, I totally get it. Same here. It has been a summer, let me tell you, but we're back and we're ready to drive into all things chaotic, cringeworthy, and of course, steamy.
Yes, we have an amazing lineup for this season. I'm super stoked. Like seriously, I loved our first season, but this is even better. And we decided to start it off with a sentimental moment.
Yeah, that's me. Because over the summer, I just kept thinking about why these women in our favorite series are so confident in their own skin and have no qualms about choosing themselves.
And
And I think it's because that they were already loved, like really loved. Before the love interest, before friends, before any of it. They had a sister who saw them completely and loved them anyway. It's that kind of love that doesn't start when you're old enough. It just exists already when you're born.
and that's your normal. You're not going to accept anything less from anyone else.
Exactly. So important to molding them into these confident women who will not settle for anything less than they deserve.
Queens being raised by queens.
Yes. And we are here for it all day.
All right, let's do it.
Welcome to Pickle Party, where romantasy gets a little naughty. Join the brine, it's book club time. Tropes and memes and feeling oh my.
Woo woo, woo woo. We're so excited. Welcome back. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing what can be the most complicated yet important relationship in a family dynamic, the sisterly bond. I say that from personal experience. This matters because the way we're first loved teaches us what love feels like. And sisters, especially the sisters in these books, represent a love that had no audition. It was so fully given from the beginning. And you didn't have to be pretty enough, smart enough, or useful enough to earn it. It just existed the moment you did. That's actually really rare and really powerful because most love that we experience as adults comes with conditions, expectations, and, well, performance. In a genre that's often criticized for heroines who accept bad treatment, these particular women don't. And we think the sister relationships are a huge reason for why.
Turns out growing up with someone who has seen you at your absolute worst and loves you anyway sets the bar pretty high for everyone else.
It really does. And it's true, the true love that gets the credit in the end, but the sisters did the work.
So let's dive in. We're going to go to our first series, the Hathaway series, which Jules is going to have to dive into this more because I have not finished this series yet. I've only read,
Did you start it?
yes.
Oh, I didn't know you started. This is exciting news for Jules. I love this series. So the two series. So my first of all, I should say my Clay Passies, my Clay Pass fellow lovers. You're going to be really pumped with this episode because we're actually talking about two Clay Pass series, and we're going to be covering Fourth Wing. And we will not beat a dead horse, guys. We are not going to talk Akatar. I think we covered that pretty heavy, and we know, honestly, Farah's relationship with her sisters are not what we're talking about with these sisters. Please don't be surprised if you're like, oh my God, they didn't say a word about Akatar. Because we're not. We're not actually talking about Farah and her sisters. We are going to dive into sisterly relationships that set the ideal
Mhm.
for what a sisterly relationship should be. And like Leslie said, we're going to start with the first series, the Hathaway series. And these characters are Amelia Winifred, also known as Win, Poppy, and Beatrix Hathaway. I'm so excited to talk about this family. I am going to try really hard not to go into the storylines of these books too much. A, because Leslie is still on her adventure reading this, and B, because Leslie has agreed to let me break the series down this season too, guys. I'm so excited.
I enjoyed Wallflowers last season. And so I have high hopes because I like her writing that I'm going to enjoy this
Oh,
series
you're
just as
gonna
much.
love the Hathaways. You're gonna love the Hathaways. And honestly, the more I think about it, Westcliff shows up in other series that I haven't even mentioned in small doses, but he's still there. In like prequels to like, again, the magic that early. Today we're talking about the Hathaway girls. And you have to understand that the Hathaway family is so lovable because they're so different and they don't care. They are odd birds of London society. They are a very distantly related to a title.
Hmm.
And the series begins shortly after the title is handed down to the one brother of the siblings, Leo. Leo is the oldest, actually, of the five siblings. He is the oldest. And he has the four younger sisters. He and Amelia, however, are very close in age. And Leo is dealing with some major loss in the
Hmm.
first book of the series and is not really thinking about anybody but himself at this point. Amelia is a little bit of a mama. Like when I sub, there's always one little girl in the class who's like the little mama and has to mama everybody and keep them in line and keep me on schedule. There's always like one little mama in the room.
Yeah.
That was Amelia. Amelia's used to taking charge. She's kind of used to having to be the leader. The family's used to it. Leo used to be a really great leader. He has fallen heavily into grief and he's just not who he used to be. So Amelia is doing what she can to keep this family together. And her only concern in life is making sure that Wednesday's alive at this point, and Beatrix and Poppy end up happy.
Yeah.
She's not concerned about herself. It's truly the older sibling sacrifice that Amelia carries. I think it's something that is always kind of pushed down onto the older sibling a little bit.
Well, she's probably got the least amount of time to find her mate or her match that she's supposed to have, and so I kind of feel like
Partly that, and she's a little scorned.
Mhm.
She's had a scorned love interest that hurt her so deeply. She's just like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
Mhm.
She thought she was going to marry Leo's best friend, and he ended up being, quite frankly, a twat. He just wanted to marry for status, and that is not, well, they have a title now. They are not known for status.
Mhm.
They're middle class, they're well educated, but they're raised by a scholar.
Right.
And Mr. Hathaway is like, he's the kind of father who had no problem with animal crazy Beatrix, the youngest, bringing home the hurt hedgehog to raise. He encouraged it. You know, they talked philosophy. The girls are allowed to express opinions, and they're all very well versed and very well spoken. But that's not common for this time, and especially in society,
Well, look at the Bowman
high
girls. I
society.
mean, just from the
Right,
Wallflowers, that's
right.
complete opposite of how Lillian was taught to
So
be.
you can imagine when Lillian meets the Hathaways and makes their acquaintance, because the manor that they inherit, the estate they inherit, borders Westcliff's, Stony
Okay.
Cross Park, and Lillian loves them.
Hmm.
The Westcliffs play a pretty big role in the first book, but and St. Vincent, because it's Cam's story,
Hmm.
and St. Vincent is Cam's boss. There is such a sense of responsibility for taking care of her sisters that she doesn't think like there's just not time, right?
Yeah.
There's not time. And my God, also trying to keep Leo alive, because at this point Leo is hell bent on killing himself.
Yeah.
There's really no other way to put it. And so she took on the responsibility and stepped in as the mother figure when her mother died. Being a very close family, they're not ones to send people away or anything like that. So keeping them together was her number one goal.
Hmm.
She has resigned herself to being a spinster. She's at the ripe old age of like 24, folks. She has decided she's a spinster. She has put herself up on a shelf. She might even be like 25 at this point.
She's older than Annabelle
I
was.
know. And she meets Cam Rohan and everything changes. If you guys will remember, Cam Rohan is the second in charge at Jenner's,
Hmm.
which was Evie's father's gaming club, now run by St. Vincent.
Right.
And he's very wealthy. And we're going to go into his lucky curse when we break down the books, but it's actually quite comical. Like, as a Roma, he feels awful with all the money he keeps getting, so he purposely invests badly
Right.
to try to lose it, but then it keeps coming back to him 20-fold.
Hmm.
And he calls it his lucky curse because as a Roma, he's like, I don't want to be attached to all this money. It's like, it's really funny. It's like, oh, poor Cam, everything you touch turns to gold. Oh. But it's still pretty funny. And so we'll talk about that more when we break down the books. But there's Win. Win is the second oldest. Win is kind of the black sheep of all of them. They're all loud, they're outspoken. And Quinn's just as intelligent as they are, but she is very soft spoken. She, like Leo, got very sick in the first, well, before the first book. It's a flashback in the first book. You find out years prior to the story, a couple years prior, she and Leo get very, very, very sick with scarlet fever. And while Leo is able to fully heal, she never fully heals, and it leaves her chronically ill. So, if you will, think of, honestly, it kind of reminds me of like long COVID. She's got like a bad case of long COVID. And I say that my sister-in-law has it. And if you guys have never experienced long COVID or seen it, it's really quite sad. My sister-in-law used to be super fit, used to like go running, used to do all this stuff. If she goes for a run now, it's going to put her down for 2 weeks. Just make her so sick. Like she has to be so careful about things. She is super sensitive to light now, to sound. Like there are just things that have not left her in the 6 years since she got COVID. This is when. This is basically when she gets very sick. It's her lungs more than anything that never recovered. She gets winded going up and down stairs. She's very frail. She's very weak. And she has the heart of what can best be called the companion, the family's companion. His name is Mary Penn. He is also Roma, which is part of the reason Amelia is attracted to Cam. She grew up with a Roma that she loves very much. And he's a good man. When he was a young teenager, he was found beaten within an inch of his life. Mr. Hathaway found him on their property, beaten to within an inch of his life by, I guess, a group of white people who don't like Roma that came through and attacked them. Roma being gypsy. I don't know if I've said that. Gypsy is what Roma is called. Or I should say the proper name for a gypsy is that Roma is the culture. He kind of, they let him stay to heal. And he just never leaves. The reason he never leaves is because he falls in love with Win. And is just silently, very silent, tropey, very devoted to her. Of course, because he's Roma and the way it was raised, he is thinking he's not good enough for her. One of those tropes. But she's been silently devoted to him too, and she doesn't understand what the hell is taking him so long. And a lot of the problem is how sick she is. He's like, I don't want to kill you. Like, we can't make love. You won't be able to keep up with it. Like the breathal, like you can't breathe. And so when the sisters seriously and secretly carry a very quiet fear that Win is living on a very short life expectancy at this point. And they're all very, very aware of how fragile she is. And she's also a lot braver than they give her credit for. And actually, and she might be soft-spoken, but she also might be, if pushed to the limit, the most drastic. Like she's willing to take the most drastic measures when pushed to a limit. Things that they never thought she would do is she would do, kind of thing. Then you've got Poppy. Poppy just wants to be normal, y'all. Poppy's that sibling who has all these weird siblings, and she's just like, why can't I be normal? She really is. The thing is, because she was raised the way she was raised, she's very opinionated. She's very talkative, and she tends to talk a lot, and it can be a bit of a turnoff sometimes. But she is beautiful. She is known as the most traditionally beautiful out of the sisters. She's the one that you underestimate and then realize that she low-key is holding the family together socially. Like she's the one thing that's keeping them somewhat socially not completely frowned upon. And I feel like for every book that Lisa Kleypas writes, every family she creates, there is one in the family that keeps them from looking completely ridiculous at social events. For the Ravenels, and we'll get there, it's Cassandra or Helen, one of the two. But with this group, it's truly just Poppy, because Beatrix, I have a saying, the youngest in the family is feral. I have yet to have friends with multiple children tell me that their youngest is not their feral one.
Oh no, my youngest is definitely the feral one.
Yeah,
She will
it's the
say
youngest.
whatever, she will do whatever. She does not give a fuck.
It's always the youngest. I'm telling you, the babies are the feral ones. Everybody I know, especially if you have three. If you have three, the youngest is feral. There's just no question about it. Beatrix is, and it's funny I'm using the term feral because we're going to go into her story later when we discuss the books later on, and that word gets used. But I write it in the script like she's a feral little gremlin whom the whole family just accepts. There's literally no ifs, ands, or buts to her. I think Cam is just kind of resigned once he marries into the family and kind of takes on the patriarch type role with the
Mhm.
family for a while. He's just kind of like he takes a very special interest in Beatrix. And when it comes to her love story, like he tells the person she ends up marrying, Christopher, he tells him like, listen, she's a special girl and she can't be given to just anybody. Like you have to understand, you have to let her be her. She comes with a hedgehog named Medusa, a cat with three legs named Lucky. You know, she comes with a gaggle of animals and expect for her to be bringing them in at all times. She thinks like an animal and she sees the world as if she lived on all four legs. She truly does. And at times, because of that, she sees things more clearly than anybody else in her family.
Yeah.
And Cam sees that in her and immediately, you know, big brotherly all the way. Just and when Cam comes into their life, she's like 13, maybe 14.
Hmm.
So he kind of raises her through teenagehood
Right.
and takes care of her. And, you know, so, and it's not just obviously Leo being the oldest once he gets his redemption arc. All the men in the family are very protective of Beatrix.
Hmm.
When Poppy meets her husband, Harry, Harry can't help but adore Beatrix. Like she's just so damn lovable. And Lisa Kleypas, she makes those characters. I think she saves their story for last when they're the
Hmm.
most lovable, just to keep you in there. She
Right.
did the same thing for Lady Cassandra with the Ravenels. Her story's the last one in the
Hmm.
lineup. The thing about these sisters, though, they could not be more different. All of them are very different, but the way they interact in these books and their love for each other, it's just so much fun. It's part of what's so fun in reading the books is the dynamics and the dialogue between sisters and Leo. Listen, the more I read this series, and I've read it a good 3 or 4 times, Leo, his book, hands down the fucking funniest. I'm going to tell you
Hmm.
that right now because it's very much, you know me and my tropes when it comes to the I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you trope,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
Beatrix Benedict trope, that is his trope.
Hmm.
He tortures because he falls in love with the family governess and he tortures her. He tortures poor Catherine. She gets an honorable mention because she comes in as a governess to a very weird family and just falls right in line and falls in love with them.
Hmm.
And like everybody else is very protective of Beatrix. She's trying to train Beatrix for society. How are you going to train that for society? And she learns very fast that she can't.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even mention the ferret Dodger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's naughty. He's obsessed with Catherine's leggings and stockings, and he likes to steal them. I'm telling you, Leo's story will have you giggling the whole time between the stocking stealing ferret and his adoration for Cat, who cannot stand him. And like, it's. You remember how in college you were allergic to Trooper. Trooper was my
Hmm.
cat, guys, and he was the best cat. And every time you came over, Trooper was like, I'm gonna love on you, specifically to you, because he
Yeah.
knew you were just gonna like blow up. That is Dodger with Catherine. He like senses her disdain, so he pushes himself even harder on her. And it ended up working eventually. It's a great story. I highly encourage all of our readers to check it out. And if for nothing else, the love stories are great, yeah, but you are going to finish the Hathaways wishing you were a Hathaway. There's just no other way to put it. You're going to find yourself saying, "Man, I wish I had a Beatrix because that'd be really helpful with my dog right now." Like, or
Nice.
man, I wish I had a Poppy to go shopping with.
Hmm.
Man, I wish I had a Win to just get some sage advice from. Or man, I wish I had an Amelia to hop in and tell me how to do things and get things done.
Hmm.
And they all just hit. They all hit on so
And
many
we will
wonderful
be
levels.
breaking down all of these later on in the season, so stay tuned.
It's happening. I promise. I'm so excited. Listen, the Hathaways, they said normal is overrated. And honestly, I definitely agree.
Normal is
So
overrated. I like being weird. We wouldn't be doing this shit if we didn't like being weird.
listen, I am the mother of two autistic children. I dance in shades of weird. It's what we do. We love weird in this house. We really do. Okay, real talk. What if your morning coffee actually did something for you beyond just keeping you alive?
That's exactly why we're obsessed with Jobby Coffee. They make protein coffee, so you're hitting the protein goals before you've even put on real pants.
If you're an iced coffee girly, grab their protein coffees. Hot coffee, more your thing. Their protein creamer drops right in, and the flavor's absolutely delicious.
The link is right below this episode. Click it and use our code for 15% off. Go get
Go
your
get your protein.
babes. Just click the link below.
Just do the link. Okay, series 2, The Ravenels. Leslie, you've also read a book of The Ravenels.
Yes, I have.
So, and that was Kathleen's story. Now,
And so
what's interesting,
I got to dive into the rest of those, but I did read.
yes,
I did read one.
and that one. What's funny about that story, that book, it's both sides of the family love story because in it you get Wes.
Mhm.
West is Devin, the main character. His brother, you get his love story.
Mhm.
And you also get their family doctor. Her name, it's a female, and her name is Garrett. You get her love story too.
Mhm.
And if you guys are wondering, I absolutely named my son after her. Garrett is named after the Garrett in the Ravenel series, even though she's female. She's so awesome. She's the first surgeon in England, certified surgeon in England, and she's just a badass in the books. And she's great. But she falls in love with a long lost Ravenel sibling. So I guess she counts.
Mhm.
But the actual siblings of the series for the Ravenels, I'm giving Kathleen the in because even though she's not biologically a sibling to Helen, Pandora, or Cassandra,
Mhm.
she married their brother at the very beginning of the series
Okay.
and immediately fell in love with these girls. And their brother is titled and awful. He's
Mhm.
not a good guy. He's got a horrible temper. And the Ravenel men are known for having tempers. And because of it, they die of stupid shit. Like, no lie. You know the beginning of the Minions movies where,
Mhm.
like, the Minions keep killing the bad guys?
Yeah.
It's always my favorite part, how they accidentally keep killing their bad guys. It's kind of the same, except instead of having minions kill them, their temper gets them in trouble and kills them. This particular brother was mad at his new wife and was trying to prove a point and jumped on a horse he wasn't ready to ride. And she told him because she's an equine expert and tried to take off on this horse and falls off and breaks his neck.
Mhm.
They actually hadn't even consummated the marriage yet.
Oh, geez.
But she was so in love with his sisters, she
Mhm.
didn't say anything. She just kind of kept it quiet. Apparently, they had started to, and he was not how he should be about it. Have you seen that 70s show episode where Kitty and Red talk to Eric about sex?
I don't remember that one.
And
No.
It's really funny because Eric's stoned, and so it's one
Mhm.
of those scenes where he's talking to them, but the kitchen wall is moving in the background. You know how they would do that when they would
Yeah.
corner him when he was stoned? Well, it's one of those moments where he has partaken in the circle in the basement, and I think he's come upstairs to get snacks or something. He gets cornered by Kitty and Red, and I think they've just found out that he and Donna are having sex
Mhm.
or might have sex. I think it's the episode where Donna gets on birth control.
Okay.
They're not having sex yet, but Donna and her mom have a talk, and very responsibly, her mom puts her on birth control.
Mhm.
Just happens that Eric is at the pharmacy when Bob goes to pick up some prescriptions. They talk about Bob picking up birth control. Like Bob finds out he's picking up birth control for Donna and he like looks at Eric and like
Mhm.
the next thing you know, Eric's being pulled into the kitchen by his parents and he's sitting there and they're talking to him about sex and Red's like, first of all, foreplay, not that important. And then Kitty comes up behind him and goes, okay, no, foreplay is so important. And like every piece of advice Red keeps giving, Kitty keeps coming behind him and is like, no, 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 like warm the oven before you put the turkey in. Like it's so funny because it's complete Like you almost feel bad for Kitty. Like, what is he doing to you? Like, it's just literally one of the funniest moments on that show. I kind of feel like that is basically what happened to poor Kathleen. Like,
Hmm.
he went at it from a red perspective instead of from a Kitty perspective, and
Right.
it hurt. And so she stopped before it could get any further,
Hmm.
and he never actually broke through the door.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened, but the estate gets passed on to a cousin, a long
Hmm.
lost cousin named Devin. Devin and his brother West. And they're distantly related. They never trained for the title. They didn't expect the title. It's very similar to the Hathaways in that way,
Hmm.
except they are a little bit more prepared for it than
Hmm.
say where they're distantly related. They're related to the title, but it was through their cousin,
Hmm.
and it was a cousin they didn't like. They knew all about it. Whereas with Leo and the Hathaways, they had no clue about this title that they were related. Like they were shocked when the lawyer comes to their door and is like, "Congratulations, you are a title holder." And that's kind of the same thing that happens with the Ravenels, except they were already prepared for it. Devin doesn't want the title because it's cursed. And it's considered cursed because all of the title holders die young. Well, I think it's mostly because of all their stupid, immature temper tantrums that get them killed.
Yeah.
Dueling. Half of the men have been killed dueling over women that were not theirs. Like I said, the brother had a hissy fit and rode a horse he wasn't prepared to ride that bucked him off and broke his neck. Like they have these hissy fits and die.
Yeah.
And so Devin's like, no, I don't want this title. I have a temper like the rest of my family. What are you trying to kill me? So he goes to the estate, and his attitude at the beginning is, I'm going to send away the sisters. I'm going to, ferret them off to the nearest relative that'll take them, and I'm going to sell the estate. And I'm going to sell the title. It's all done. Well, he gets there and meets the sisters and falls in love.
Hmm.
He just absolutely adores them. He is completely enamored by Kathleen. Kathleen, of course, is his cousin's widow.
Hmm.
Um, but she's this teeny tiny little thing who's tough as nails because of her equestrian background
Hmm.
and is very opinionated and not afraid to tell Devin about it.
Yeah.
Of course, Devin is attracted to this.
Hmm.
And he starts to fall for his cousin's widow. Well, he also gets to know sweet Helen. Helen, picture Wynn, if you will. Helen is a lot like Wynn. She's very timid. She's kind of considered the weak one. She has these raging migraines that will put her to bed at times.
Hmm.
And unlike the rest of the Ravenels, she is blonde. She's very blonde. The Ravenels are known for having very thick, dark hair.
Hmm.
She is blonde and very frail and very thin.
Hmm.
Um, I think Cassandra has a blondish tint to her hair, but it's not like they describe Helen's hair as being almost white, like that platinum blonde,
Right.
whereas Cassandra's, I think, is more of a dirty blonde, more of
Hmm.
a sandy blonde, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Ravenels are known for having very thick, dark features. Pandora absolutely meets that, and their brother did too. In fact, I think they even say that Pandora and the brother are spitting images.
Hmm.
Pandora and Cassandra are twins. I think they're described as feral also when they're met because they did not really have much in terms of governess. They play games. They love to play games. In fact, when Devin meets them, he hears screaming in the backyard and he goes running to see what it is, panicked, thinking one of the girls has been hurt. And
Hmm.
the girls are playing like a pirate game with their two doggies, like Cocker Spaniels, Josephine and Napoleon. If you
Hmm.
guys are history people, you know that reference. It's actually really cute. But they have two Cocker Spaniels, Josephine and Napoleon, and they're playing with them and they're talking. The dogs are jumping on them, and one of them's wailing that she's being attacked, and the other's pretending to fight the dogs off. And it's just this whole massive chaos with these two young women who are
Hmm.
in their late teens, probably at this point. And he can't help but laugh. And he kind of just right then and there is like, these two are feral. I can't send them away. What? They've only known life here. Like, he
Yeah.
kind of immediately falls in love with them and is like, no, they're mine. Like my father-in-law likes to tell a story of when he went to go pick out a dog. He's long gone now, but a long time ago when he and my mother-in-law went to go pick out this dog. It was a group of schnauzers. We're a schnauzer family. There was a giant mud puddle
Hmm.
and all these dogs these puppies come running at them, and they all go around the puddle except for
Mhm.
this one who goes right into the middle of it, stops and looks up like, oh. And my father-in-law said, that's the one I want. And let me tell you, that dog ended up being the best damn dog. The best damn dog. So I feel like he did that with the twins. Like he was like, I wasn't expecting that, but if I'm gonna take them, I want those two. And he makes a promise to himself. Like he really hates this life that is supposed to be that he didn't want, and he ends up falling in love with it. He finds out that there's a lot of mineral rights on the land, and what was considered just honestly, what was handed to him was a trash chute, right?
Yeah.
Because in all these other books, just like before, the old title holders wouldn't progress with society. They're not making money. The estate's in shambles. They're living on next to nothing. Devin gets there, starts doing progressive things. He has good friends, smart friends that help invest. And bada bing, bada boom, before you know it, they're sitting on a pretty penny by the end of the
Mhm.
series.
Right.
Not only are they sitting on a pretty penny, Devin has seen to it that Helen, Pandora, and Cassandra are all very happily married. And for him, that was his goal. And so the book ends with him. There was a trapped bird in like this glass cage that he always hated in the study of the house,
Mhm.
and he kept it there. And he promised himself once he got Cassandra or everybody was happily married and his responsibilities to the girls were done, he was going to break it and it was going to free the bird and it was just going to be like a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
And the series ends with him doing just that at the end of the last book. And Kathleen comes running in and she's like, I think she's even pregnant with their second at this point. She comes running in. She's like, what the hell? And he's like, just fulfilling a promise I made to myself. And it's a really beautiful way to end the series, but the beauty in the relationship between the girls is amazing.
Yeah.
The twins specifically crack me up. My husband's sisters, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but his older sisters are fraternal twins. And much like Pandora and Cassandra, could not be more different. Could not be more different. Do you guys remember Eurotrip?
I haven't watched it forever, but I remember it.
I haven't watched it in years, and I'm probably about as long as you have. But shortly after Ed and I started dating, he hadn't seen it. And I worked with somebody, and he and I were always quoting it, like the scene in the train where the guy's, "Excuse, excuse, excuse," and he's just like rubbing all over them and stuff. I had a friend I used to work with, and we'd do that to each other. Like we'd purposely run into each other and be like, "Excuse." And Ed was like, "Where did that come from?" And so I was like, "You've got to see Eurotrip." So I put it on for him. The twins. There are twins in that movie. It's a boy and a girl. And the entire movie, they're like, oh my God, you guys are the worst twins ever because they're just never on the same page.
Hmm.
And the entire time we were watching that, Ed was dying because he was like, it's Holly and Kate. It's Holly and Kate. It's all like, it's because they really, truly could not be more different. Ed was like, they're the worst twins ever. So it's just very, very funny. So what I love about Pandora and Cassandra is they are also like that, except they are truly best friends because they've only ever had each other. Much like Daisy and Lillian, they're each other's number one partner in crime.
Yeah, even though they
Mostly
are technically
Cassandra
twins,
going along
but
with Pandora. Yeah.
yeah.
It was mostly Cassandra saying, ooh, let's do this, and Pandora being like, or Pandora saying, ooh, let's do this, and Cassandra being like, yeah, okay. Like very much like Lillian and Daisy. But I just love their relationship. Cassandra's story, especially, she has seen everybody fall in love and move on, and she's so afraid that she's not going to find that. And I think it's not that she's being picky or what, she's just been loved so utterly deeply
Hmm.
that she isn't going to stop until she knows she can find somebody who's going to love her as much as everybody else does. And like comments are made a lot about her body because she starts to get a little chunky at one point. And the guy she falls in love with, she's like she keeps reaching for a plate of cookies at tea
Hmm.
time when he's proposing to her. And she keeps stopping herself because she's been told you're getting fat,
Hmm.
not by her family, but by her sponsor in society. He finally goes, oh my God, if you want the cookie, just eat it. And she's like, I'm trying to watch my weight. And he looks at her and he's like, that's so stupid. You're beautiful. Like, it's a really sweet moment where he's like,
Mhm.
eat the damn cookie. You're fine. And so just seeing that reinforcement is great. The stories that are set forth, and especially the love that Kathleen brings to all
Mhm.
three of them. I think they always had that love there for each other, but it's that motherly love that Kathleen brings that they never had.
Mm-hmm.
because their mother was a piece of work. Their mother and their father are a piece of shits, and their brother wasn't much better. They are given the opportunity to learn what unconditional love is by Kathleen, who comes in and chooses to love them unconditionally and tells Devin in the first book very fast, these are my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They are mine. Like it's very, even though she technically doesn't have, because they never consummated the marriage, she doesn't have to. She chooses it. And it's a beautiful thing. So like Kathleen, she showed up as the sister-in-law and left as the mom, the therapist, and the hype woman. She deserves a raise. Basically, Kathleen in a nutshell. The Ravenel girls and the way their story's told, like they're always one step away from scandal,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like their sisterly love and stuff that keeps them thriving regardless. So, and the way they get each other's back, it's just a beautiful thing. So, if you're looking for two Lisa Kleypas series that are going to give you all the sisterly and lovey feels, I highly recommend the Hathaways and the Ravenels. Now, romantasy. I didn't forget about you when I wrote this. I promise you I didn't. So hold on to your butts because we're going to talk fourth wing.
Need help running your business? Sometimes We Get You Media is your AI guru hub for everything. Design, content, marketing, brand strategy, meeting transcriptions, file organization, social media, you name it, AI can help. Stop juggling a dozen tasks. Streamline your entire operations in one place. Visit www.sometimeswegetyou.com. That's www.sometimeswegetyou.com. Or email info@sometimeswegetyou.com. Sometimes We Get You Media, AI-powered solutions for modern businesses.
All right, Mira and Violet, Soaring Gal. So Mira being the
I love Mira.
oldest. I do too. She's very protective of Violet, especially in the beginning when she's just like talking to the mom of like, why the hell are you doing this to her? This is not what she wants to do.
Can I tell you Sarah vibes from the
Mhm.
get-go off Mira? And I think that's why I love Mira so much, because Mira does for Violet what Sarah will do for me sometimes.
Mm.
She sent me a meme or a thing the other day that was like, anybody bothers you, just tell them you think I'm bad. Wait till my sister gets here. And it was like a woman speeding up in a car and getting out with a bat. I was like, this is true. Like, I pity the fool who messes with me, because Sarah, she's got a vicious tongue and she will cut them to shreds with just her words.
Mm.
So, and I feel like Mira's the same way. I get
Mhm.
the same vibe off Mira, except Mira's also will just kill you because she's amazing.
Yeah. But she'll
Mira's
do it,
just the shit.
she'll do it by the rules. Like,
Yes, she'll do it within boundaries, however bent they may be, but she will follow the line.
yeah.
Listen, Mira and Violet, for at least a year and a half, I cannot remember how long they think Brendan is dead for,
Mhm.
but for at least a few years, it is them against the world.
Right.
Especially in a world like this.
Mm-hmm.
Your name's all you got, your line is all you got, your bloodline. That's all you've got in a world like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the story starts, like you said, with Mira just storming in and being like, what the hell, mother? She's supposed to be a scholar. It just sets the whole tone right there for
It does.
Violet's real. And the fact that Violet is so sisterly to me, the fact that Violet's a little like, oh my God, Mira, like, I'm handling this myself, but Mira's still like, shh, pipe down, I've got this.
Right.
Again, so sisterly and Sarah coded. Like, she can't help herself. She's just going to step in and be like, look,
Mhm.
no. And that's, and I think maybe Violet let her do it for so long that it just kind of became that way.
Yeah.
Because, and guys, do not crucify me. We had so much things come up with the podcast. I have not finished Onyx Storm. I'm still at the very beginning of Onyx Storm. So I can only really talk from reading the first two fully. But she has a really hard time letting Violet lead and be the natural born leader that she really is.
I mean, I feel like she doesn't see what Violet can do until once she gets in there. And then she really kind of sees how strong Violet is as a person.
Yes. And I think maybe it's easy to underestimate people. And I think that happens a lot at the beginning with Mira and Violet. Now, I will say that I think Mira's saving grace is the fact that she does everything she does out of love.
She
Like in the
does.
moments when she gets high-handed and gets kind of bossy, she does it out of love because she's already lost Brendan. She cannot lose Vi.
Right.
And I say maybe she underestimates Violet, but I mean, obviously she doesn't because she gives Violet all those like tips and stuff. And
Yes, she does. And so she's there for her, but I don't think she realizes how strong she is until she
Mhm.
really sees her in action. Because it's
Agreed.
like she's like, well, this she loves. She wants to be a scholar. She wants to be like her dad, like she's totally going up that alley. And I think you can do that with a lot of things in your life. Like a lot of people in your life, you can do that with. Like you see them doing something always that you don't really
Yes.
expect them to do something different. And when they do, it's shocking. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's kind of mirrors judgment towards her in the beginning of like, no, she's not doing this. She's not cut out for this. You're forcing her to do something that she's not capable
Right.
of.
Right. And, it would be discrediting Mira's love to Violet if we said that love and that protectiveness isn't not what gave her the confidence, because it gave her the
Oh yeah.
confidence to get through
Hmm.
the parapet at least, right?
And got her
And
through all of that.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
She had her back, but was she scared?
exactly.
Fuck yeah, she was scared.
Of course she was. Listen, my son just started sixth grade yesterday. I would be lying to you if I told you the day before that I was not crying all day. I did not text you, but I were a couple moments I almost picked up my phone and I was like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
Well, that's why I
Um,
asked you on the day of. I'm like, oh, I know how it is. Because when I dropped off my oldest to middle school, it was like, oh God, this is really it. Like
yeah.
he's growing
Yeah.
up.
Well, and it's not even the growing up. I experienced a lot of bullying in middle school. All those flashbacks have been coming back to me in the last couple weeks. And my sister, God love her, again, big sister on the other end of the line saying, Julia, listen, I know kids were assholes when we were kids, but they're not anymore. And it's not cool to make fun
What
of the
is with
defenseless.
that, girl? I will tell you what. I don't. What did we teach them compassion? What the fuck
We
happened?
have raised, yes, girl, yes. Our generations have raised some of the sweetest, most compassionate kids in the world. And I could not be more proud of Gen X and millennials for that. It's just, she was like, it's not cool to make fun of the defenseless. And my nephews, who are very popular and very
Mhm.
athletic, talented, will be the first to step up if they see a kid getting picked on and say, I'm sorry. Can I help you? You want to talk to me about this?
So
And
I'll say an
I
example
love
that
that.
like freaked me out because my oldest is not your norm. He loves cats. He loves STEM. He loves drawing and being artsy and kind of just out there and like
In
he
Dungeons and Dragons.
and
But
yeah.
then you put him on a baseball mound and he is freaking, I don't know, what's a good bit. Ripken the pitcher? I don't know.
He's like
He's
he's like Brian Wu from the Mariners. Like he can
There
freaking
you go.
strike out like none other.
This kid, this little hidden jock inside a D&D nerd, and I'm obsessed with that.
But the thing is, he goes to
I'm
school
obsessed with
and
it.
he's so into Mythbusters at one point last year. He wanted a beret like Jamie on Mythbusters. And I was like, okay, so we pick one out on Amazon and we send it and he gets it. That child wore that beret until it was so hot that he couldn't wear it anymore. Do you know how much my heart sunk the first day he wore that beret? That I'm like, oh my God, this kid's going to get made fun of. How many kids do you see wearing berets? This is going to be the odd
Yes.
kid.
Girl, I totally get
They
it.
accepted it. And they were like, "Oh, are you French? Do you draw? Do you like art?" And he's like eating it up.
I love
Like,
that. See, and I love it. And I will say, and here's the deal. I was actually telling somebody, my neighbor, about Vincent
mhm.
the other day. And I was like, and I just keep thinking he's doing so well and he is such a different kid and he's so special. I said, but then I remember she lives in the Pacific Northwest and that is where weird goes to thrive. So of course he's doing well. And she was like, oh, that's true. I was like, yeah. But no, I love that. And that's the way it should be. And I'm finding that more and more. But thank God for Big Sister Sarah, because I was absolutely at my wit's end. And also a special shout out to my neighbor Laura, who held me while I cried later too.
Oh.
But I'm fine. I'm fine. he's doing amazing. I'm the one who's a wreck.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fine.
It's kind of like kindergarten when they laughed. It was like they didn't even care, and you're like, but I love you. You're going away.
And he just totally, like, Ed dropped him off for his first day and said he just, like, hopped right out of the car like nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And then I dropped him off today and same. He was like, bye, Mom. And I was like, can I walk you in? Because all these other parents were walking their kids in for the special needs.
Mhm.
And he was like, I got it. And he just, like, hopped right out and walked right in. And I was like, all right, bye. And Ed was on the phone with us when he did it. And he just goes, breaks your heart a little, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, it really does. So maybe I do get Mira more than I realize, because Mira, they did not have the most maternal mother either.
No.
And we've talked about General Sorengale and how she's very hard with her children. I don't feel like they go into detail. I've always wondered if she was a little softer and sweeter with her kids before her husband's death
Mhm.
or before Brendan's death. But I don't think so. I think she was always a little hard on them because she knew what was out there.
I think the dad was the softie, and she was kind of the hard ass.
Yeah, I think she liked it that way. I think she let them get their support and loving from dad, and she gave them the bump on their head they needed to get their act together. Either way, she did it out of love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with her methods, but I understand why.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I also understand why Mira is so protective of Violet, because Violet did get so much love and encouragement from Mira in the maternal fashion.
Mm-hmm.
There's just such a special bond between Mira and Violet when you're raised in, I guess in a way, they've just trauma bonded their whole life. Because when you're raised in a world where you know from childhood that you're going to go into a college where you may not even make it out alive.
Yeah. This is your fate.
Yeah, it's like when you're raised in a war-torn Prithian. Sorry, I said we weren't going to talk Akatar. I'm just making a comparison, guys. I promise. But like,
You
so
know,
like,
we'll put a little,
gotta throw it in
drop.
there. So like Farah and her sisters, like just when you get raised in society like that, that hardens you.
Mm-hmm.
And in a world where they were hardened to so many things, they kept that sisterly bond so tight, and it's even more special.
Yeah.
Because they were raised from a young age understanding that this is not going to be forever. And then losing Brendan made it even tighter.
Yeah.
They're really, truly the perfect example of a sister relationship where the love was never a question. It was always there. But the dynamic for them to truly function properly, it had to transform. And it does in the first two books. I imagine it will only continue to transform. That's banking that I'm not like Mira dies or something in the third book and I'm not aware. If she does, I'm pissed. But just letting you know that now. But their relationship had to change, and I think that can be said for any sisterly relationship, especially when it's a big sister, little sister. And I'm going to go a little personal here. Sis, don't hold this against me. Sarah and I are 6 years apart, but she was 8 grades ahead of me because she was just that smart. So we only lived together for 10 years of my life. Then she went to college and never really moved back in.
Yeah.
She would come home for holidays and stuff, but like she had an apartment in Tuscaloosa, and then she graduated in the Clinton days, y'all, and was able to go straight into a job in Atlanta and before everything went to shit. So she lived a very different life than I did. And we're 2 different generations. She is Gen X and I'm a millennial. She calls me an honorary Gen X because I was raised with a Gen X sister, so I understand a lot of the references.
I kind of feel like those early 80s are part of Gen X to a certain degree, because there's a lot of what we've dealt with, and we were raised by baby boomers. Like,
yes, and that's the thing. Sarah and I always joke we're 2 different generations, and we're raised by the same parents, but we're raised by completely different parents. It was very funny how that happened. But yes, we were both raised by baby boomers, and so many things we do have in common and things I do know, but there are also things to being a millennial that Sarah just does not get. Sarah and I, we struggled into early adulthood with our relationship. You know that. We used to fight like cat and dogs. When I was in college, it was just never great. Sarah had a hard time finding where she was my sister and where she wanted to be like a mom to me, because maybe she didn't think my mom was doing a great job, like our mom was doing a good job. And she had a hard time finding that place with me, and I had a hard time finding a place to accept her at that level.
Right.
And I will say our relationship changed just exponentially when we became mothers.
Mhm.
Was when it changed a lot, for the better, for a very great way, in a great way. I understand her much better now and vice versa.
Mhm.
But we had a hard time finding that balance. And there's kind of that issue with Violet and Mira also. Mira trying to accept Xaden as Violet's chosen one on top of Brendan coming back and maybe not understanding why Violet's so much more willing to forgive Brendan.
Yeah.
And of course, their relationship with their mother. Mira, out of the three, was by far the closest. And when Gail dies, she dies in the arms of Violet and Brendan. Not like Mira's not there. And when Mira gets there and sees she's dead, she loses it and
Mhm.
almost blames the other two. Like, what happened? What did you let her do? What happened? And has a hard time with that.
Right.
And so there are ways in which Violet and Brendan are more of a team.
Mhm.
And that's hard for Mira because previously Mira and Brendan were always a team and they
Mhm.
both took care of Violet. And then after he was gone, she took it on herself. And now it's almost as if she doesn't want to share that responsibility with him. Like, you weren't here. Also, they both kind of blame Brendan for their father's death
Mhm.
because when he thought he had lost Brendan, it kind of broke his heart to the point where he just kind of lost the will to live. They never really go into what killed him, just that they basically say losing Brendan broke his heart and it never recovered. Definitely out of all the sisters we've talked about today, Mira and Violet have a lot to unpack. In the end, also have one of the most intense bonds.
Yeah, for sure.
And
But they're
it's
in
kind of hard not to
intense,
love them
they're
together.
intense circumstances. Like,
Exactly. They had no choice but to have an intense bond. When, like I said, you're trauma bonded into this crazy ass world, right? Living
Yeah.
in this world kind of trauma bonds everybody in a way.
Mhm.
It's through that survival need to survive that they end up going from just being sisters to being sisters who respect each other as warriors.
Mhm.
And I think more so for Mira, because she already had that respect for Violet, I think that's really important for Violet
Right.
to grow as a character, is to be seen as an independent warrior
Mhm.
outside of Taryn and Andarna and Xaden, but
Yeah.
in and of herself.
That she can hold her own.
And I think, yeah, and I think Mira struggles not to look at her as that little girl sometimes. And I think Sarah struggles with that with me still sometimes. Like
Mhm.
when I'm having a moment and I'm beside myself with the boys or something, you can
Mhm.
see her looking at me like a little girl and she just wants to fix it.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you just can't. But this one's for the sisters, the ones who threaten to beat someone up if they make you cry. Because that's the kind of big sister Mira is.
And I enjoy
I don't
reading
always
about it.
agree.
I love hearing about it. I love reading about it. Guys, I'm kind of out of the loop. I'm an only child, so I don't have that experience. I've had amazing friends and an amazing cousin, but it's different.
Guys, she stopped me multiple times when I've looked at her, like, give me input, and she's like, I don't know. So I guess I'm expecting you to tell me what you wish you had. I don't know. But I was giving her a hard time before we started recording about, oh, so you never had to share the back seat on a family vacation. I'm so sorry for you. You never had to share your toys. No one was ever breathing your air, you poor thing. Okay, she got it back tenfold. She has 3. So
I
it's
do.
fine.
I have to break that up all the time.
No, I'm sure. Trust me, I get it. Listen, when it comes to Mira and Violet, they may not always get each other. They may not always understand each other, but they will never stop showing up for each other. And that's really the point of their relationship. I may not be happy with you right now, but if you need me to do this, I'll do it. And
Right.
I guess all else fails, you do for family.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where we find Violet and Mira. And again, their relationship is just so complicated. It starts out very simple. Big sister protects little sister. And it slowly becomes very, I guess, complex is really the best way to put it, as
Right.
Violet learns more and then has to explain it to Mira, and the deeper Mira gets involved. And just everything that happens. And, you know, Violet even has to keep Brendan a secret from Mira for a while, and I don't think that helps their relationship much.
Mhm.
So I'm actually really excited to see what happens in Onyx Storm and I guess the yet to be unnamed fourth book. When is that due to come out? October also?
September. End of September
September?
is when
Oh,
the
geez.
the novella comes out.
Fourth Wing is doing a novella?
Well, the one with the 13 stories.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot the threshing stories.
Yeah.
It's basically everybody else's threshing story, right?
Yeah.
That'll be pretty good, I think. I
We-
should probably finish Onyx Storm before then.
And then we got to figure out what's going to happen with Actor 6.
Yes. And we haven't mentioned this yet before, but Lisa Kleypas is releasing a new book in October, and she does not release that often. She releases once every few years, if that, lately. And it's a new series, it looks like. She's starting a new series. It's going to be called The Queen of Lombard Street, I believe.
Nice.
Looks good. Looks good. Real strong female character. I'm excited about that. So we got a busy fall, y'all.
Oh, I know.
Love it.
It's just curl up, get your favorite candle, get your favorite beverage, and a good blanket, and get ready.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. But until then, let's do hot pickle cold take.
Cold pickle cold take.
Cold pickle hot take. Ooh la la. Oh, Lord. Amelia versus Kathleen versus Mira. Who is the ultimate protective older sister figure?
Well, seeming that I've just heard the other two from you of like really descriptive, I would say it would be Mira in my opinion, but
I actually don't disagree. The other two sisters, Amelia and Kathleen, what's great about them is they, and also the storylines are very different, but they live in Victorian London. They have the freedom to make mistakes. In Fourth Wing, if you make a mistake, you die.
Yeah.
So
There's a little
Mira
difference.
has to be protective. Yeah, like Kathleen and Amelia can let them make those mistakes that they could learn from, but that's not something Mira is comfortable doing. And yeah, I feel like in retrospect and after what we talked about, yeah, I feel like Mira is definitely the ultimate in protectiveness. She can't help herself, but I love her for it.
Right.
I get it a little bit. All right, number 2, which sister relationship would fall apart fastest under real pressure and why? I'm actually going to go with Violet and
You think so?
Mira.
Well, I guess her reaction after her mother died, but I mean, I
Well,
guess
and just her resentment with Brendan.
yeah.
Mira has an ability to hold a grudge like none other.
Yeah.
And I think that would eventually cause enough tension to break them. And again, they have a much more high tense situation. I just can't imagine a situation of true pressure. Even at their poorest, both the Ravenels and the Hathaways were thriving. So relationship wise. So it's hard for me to believe that there is a true real pressure that could present itself to either of those families that would undo them.
Right.
But I feel like Mira and Violet, as deep as their relationship started, it's very strained now. Unlike the other families we talked about, this one has hit a pressure point and it's already kind of bending.
Yeah.
And it's just waiting to kind of burst in order to come back together. And sometimes I think that does have to happen. You get it all out there to come back together. And maybe even learn to just agree to disagree on some things. And there are times Sarah and I have had to do that. Like, okay, you could feel that way about this. I'm going to feel that way about this. And we'll just be okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's when the Gen Xer versus millennial stuff come in. Like I'm Little Miss Therapy about everything. And Sarah's a true Gen Xer when it comes to therapy. She's fine with it. Just she doesn't want anything to do with it. Like it's actually really quite funny because she highly encourages it. She just doesn't. She's like, I don't have time. I feel like in the end it would probably be Violet and Mira.
Yeah, and
because there's that untrust is already there. Like that's a lot of distrust has been put there with Violet's secret keeping.
Yeah.
Ew.
Well, Zayden hadn't
had Violet been completely, had Violet always been completely honest with her, maybe not.
Yeah.
But Mira doesn't necessarily always trust Violet now.
Which is understandable.
And yeah. I mean, even Violet gets that. But, same thing with Brendan. Like, she'll never trust Brendan again.
Yeah.
And Mira could be named Sarah. in a lot of ways, in the best ways, in the best ways. So, all right. Which series shows unconditional sisterly love at its best?
Okay, in my opinion, just by what you described of the other two, I would say the Ravenels because Kathleen didn't have to stay, but she did. So I feel like even though she's not like blood related, she is through marriage and she stayed.
Yes, yeah, and that no, agreed. A whole holy percent. 100%. There's something about Kathleen and because Kathleen's an only child. She doesn't have any
Mhm.
siblings. And that just she meets these girls once and is like, I have got to take care of you. And it's just sets them up for such a special lesson in love.
Mhm.
And it there's just like you said, there's something so beautifully like unconditional about the way Kathleen takes it on too. Like, I will love you, but if you don't do well in society and marry well, we're done. No, it was nothing like that. When there's some pretty scandalous things that happen, Cassandra and Kathleen's ready to go beat the crap out of the dude who accosted her. Like
Mhm.
Devin's having to pull Kathleen back. Actually, no, that's not true. Kathleen is begging Devin not to do anything stupid. But I mean, she's just as livid and horrified about what happened
Right.
to her. And there's just something, I don't know, there's something about Kathleen that's just so damn lovable.
Mhm. For
And
sure.
it doesn't. And with the Hathaway sisters, I mean, that is a close second because the unconditional love between them and just the way specifically they are with Beatrix
Mhm.
and Win, it's just there's a lot there. They're a close second, but I think Kathleen's choice to be a sister does kind of bump up that unconditional love.
Oh yeah, most definitely. All right, Brine Babes, we want to hear from you. Which Hathaway sister are you? Amelia, reluctant mom friend, Win, ethereal and tired, Poppy just wants a normal life. Is that too much to ask? Or Beatrice, feral, no further questions.
Is Kathleen more of a sister or a mother figure? And does the distinction actually matter?
Would Violet have survived Batskaya without Mira's foundation, or was she always going to find her way?
And whose sister squad would you actually want? Hathaways, Ravenels, or Mira and Violet? DM us, comment, send us your hot takes at Pickle Party Pod.
And next time, tune in for when we discuss if fairy smut and book talk are dumbing down literature. Honestly, if it is, we don't want to be smart.
No, we don't.
So until next time, stay brine, babes.
And remember, your sister has seen you at your worst and loves you anyway. So maybe stop settling for people who only want you at your best.